Jay here. Welcome to Beginning Guitar, Chapter 16. Okay, we're going to finish up talking about some dominant 7 chords. This chapter we're going to talk about F7 and B flat 7. Okay, to make these dominant 7 chords, we're going to take a major triad and add a flat 7th. The notes of our F7 chord is going to be an F, A, C, and an E flat. That's the 1, 3, 5, and flat 7. Now I'm going to try to give some smaller, easier versions of an F7 chord because sometimes this is played as a bar chord, but there's also some different ways we can play some of these same chords, so check into them and see which one you like best. Okay, I'm going to start off with just a big old F7 bar chord. Now this is basically going to be your F major bar chord without the pinky, based off of your low 6 string. So if this bar chord is a little too tricky at this point, just hold off for 1 second and we'll talk about some smaller chords. Okay, now for the bar chord, I'm going to have my index finger barring on the 1st fret on the 6th string. Ring finger, it's got the 3rd fret on the 5th string, barring to get the 1st fret on the 4th string with my index. Middle finger's on the 2nd fret 3rd string. And then barring to get the 1st frets on the 1st and 2nd string with index. Okay, now this one might be a little easier. This is going to be based off of the 4th string. I've got my index finger on the 3rd fret 4th string, ring fingers on the 5th fret 3rd string, middle fingers on the 4th fret 2nd string, and then pinkies on the 5th fret 1st string. Okay, now here's another F7. I've got my ring finger on the 3rd fret 4th string, middle finger is on the 2nd fret 3rd string, pinky stretches to the 4th fret on the 2nd string, and then index is on the 1st fret 1st string. And then just avoid your 2 low strings. Okay, now for B flat 7, we're going to do some bar chords, and I do have a smaller version for this chord too. Okay, B flat, I want to point out, is also enharmonically known as A sharp. So you're also playing an A sharp 7, but we're just referring to it in the notes of B flat. The notes of our B flat 7 is going to be the 1, 3, 5, that's a B flat, D, and an F, and then we add the flat 7th, and that's an A flat. B flat bar chord, this is going to be based off of your 5th string, got the index finger on the 1st fret 5th string, ring fingers on the 3rd fret 4th string, barring to get the 1st fret on the 3rd string with index. Pinky's got the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then barring to get the 1st fret on the 1st string with index, and then making some contact to mute my low 6 string. Totally movable shape, so you can bump it up anywhere to get some different keys. Okay, now let's take the first bar chord we did off of F7 and we're just going to bump it up to the 6th fret. So this is going to be the same shape, but now we're going to be playing B flat 7. So anywhere my index finger falls on the 6th string is going to be a new root for this chord. So for your B flat 7, let's go ahead and go for index finger on the 6th fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 8th fret 5th string, barring to get the 6th fret on the 4th string with index. Middle fingers on the 7th fret 3rd string, and then barring to get the 6 frets on the first 2 strings with index. Okay, now here's a smaller B flat 7 chord with my index. I'm going to grab the 3rd frets on the 3rd and 2nd string, and then my middle finger gets the 4th fret on the 1st string. So it's a little 3-note chord right here. You can also grab the 3rd fret on the 4th string if you like to, and make it into a 4-note chord. And then just avoid your 2 low strings. This chapter strum pattern is going to have all 8th notes with a tied note. Okay, now for your 8th notes, I'm going to recommend a down and an up strum. When you see a box without a bottom, that's your down strum, and an up strum is an arrow pointing down. Okay, now on beat 1, we're going to have 2 8th notes, and we're going to tie the 2nd 8th note on the and of 1 to the downbeat of beat 2. So on beat 1, we're going to go down, up. On beat 2, miss your down strum, and then resume strumming on your up beat, the and of 2, with an up strum. On beats 3 and 4, we'll just do 2 beats of 8th notes with the down up strumming. Okay, here's the pattern without a chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just be playing each of these one time, but I recommend repeat them all 4 to 8 times and check out your different tempos, slow, medium, and fast. Go ahead and grab your F7 and let's go 4 bars with our pattern. I'm going to be using the shape with the root on the the 4th string for this one. And if you're feeling that the bar chord's comfortable, you can feel free to do that, or use the other version of F7 too, whichever one's working for you for today. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, for number 2, we're going to go 4 bars with B flat 7, and for this one, I'm going to be doing the smaller version with the root on the 3rd string, and I will be barring to get also my 3rd fret on the 4th string. So I've got the 4-note mini chord right here. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Number 2 a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... For number 3, we're going to go 4 bars of F7 into 4 bars of B flat 7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, now if you've got your bar chords going, we can also do this progression with bar chords, and this one we're just going to move our same shape, F7, up to the 6th fret, and that'll give us a B flat 7. So here's number 3 with bar chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Number 4, we're going to go 2 bars of F7 into 2 bars of B flat 7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Here's number 4 with bar chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Number 5, we're going to go 1 bar of normal F into 1 bar of F7, and then repeat that again for bars 3 and 4. Okay, now for your F major, you can do either your full bar chord or a smaller version of the chord. So for a full F major bar chord, I've got my index finger on the 1st fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 3rd fret 5th string, pinkies on the 3rd fret 4th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then barring to get the 1st frets on the first 2 strings. Okay, now for a smaller version of F, I'm going to go ring finger on the 3rd fret 4th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then barring to get the 1st frets on the first 2 strings with index. And then just avoid the 2 low strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, now if you've got your bar chords going, it's actually pretty easy switch to go from an F major bar chord to an F7, just release your pinky. So here's number 5 using bar chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... For number 6, we'll go a bar of B flat 7 with normal pattern into a bar of G with normal pattern, and we'll repeat that again for bars 3 and 4. Okay, for your G major, got middle finger on the 3rd fret 6th string, index is on the 2nd fret 5th string, open 2 middle strings, ring fingers on the 3rd fret 2nd string, and then pinkies on the 3rd fret 1st string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, for number 7, we're going to start off with an F7 on bar 1 with a whole note. That's a chord lasting for 4 beats, and then we'll have normal pattern on bar 2. We'll switch it to a C major on bar 3 with normal pattern, and then on bar 4 we'll have normal pattern but with a half note for the last 2 beats, so that's a chord lasting for 2 beats. Okay, for your C major, I've got my ring finger on the 3rd fret 5th string, middle finger is on the 2nd fret 4th string, open 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, open 1st string. Make some contact with your ring finger to mute the low 6th string, or have your thumb over the top to mute that string. Okay, here comes number 7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4. Here's number 7 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 4. For number 8, we're going to start off with the B flat 7 for 2 bars with normal pattern. We'll switch it to a D minor on bar 3, normal pattern, and then we'll have a whole note rest. That's on bar 4, where we won't play anything for all 4 beats. For your D minor, got the 1st finger, 1st fret, 1st string, ring fingers on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and then you could have your open 5th and 4th string. And just avoid your low 6th string or bring your thumb over to mute it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Rest, 2, 3, 4. Okay, for number 9, we're going to have an 8-bar progression. We're going to start off with F7, normal pattern for the first 2 bars. We'll switch it to an E major, normal pattern for bar 3 with 2 half notes on bar 4. Those are 2 chords lasting for 2 beats each. On bars 5 and 6, we'll switch it to a G major with normal pattern. And then on bar 7, we'll go to A minor. We'll have a half note rest for the first 2 beats on bar 7, and then we'll resume our pattern with 8th notes on beats 3 and 4. And then on the last bar, bar 8, we'll have normal pattern for the first 2 beats, but then we'll have a half note rest for the last 2 beats of that bar where we won't play anything. Okay, for your E major, I've got the open 6th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 5th string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 4th string, index is on the 1st fret 3rd string, and then your first 2 open strings. For your G major, I've got my middle finger on the 3rd fret 6th string, index is on the 2nd fret 5th string, open 2 middle strings, ring fingers on the 3rd fret 2nd string, and pinkies on the 3rd fret 1st string. For your A minor, you could have your open 6th string, open 5th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 4th string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then open 1st string. And you could also have your thumb over the top to mute your low 6th string, or just start strumming on your 5th string too. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Rest, rest, rest. Here's number 9 a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... 2, 4. Rest, 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 rest. For this chapter scales, we're going to learn the F blues scale and the B flat blues scale. Okay, let's go ahead and start off with the F blues scale. To make the scale, we're going to use the root, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5th, and flat 7 back to the octave. And the notes for your F blues scale is going to be an F, A flat, B natural, C to an E flat, and then back to F. Okay, let's go ahead and start off in our first position. We're going to go 1 to 4 on the 6th string. You could use your index and pinky, index and ring. You can even just scoot up with your index finger for both of those notes. On the 5th string, we'll go 1, 2, 3. You can go index, middle to ring, or just try out some different fingers, see what you like. On the 4th string, we'll go 1 to 3. And I'm using index to ring for that. Once we get to that 3rd fret on the 4th string, that's our F, that's the first octave. Coming back down, we'll go to the 1st fret 4th string, 3, 2, 1, 5th string, and then 4, 1 on the 6th string. Okay, here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. Okay, for number 2, we're going to play each note 3 times. That'll sound like an 8th note triplet. 3 triplet, 4 triplet. For number 3, we're going to take the scale up 2 octaves. So let's do what we've already done. 1 to 4 6th string, 1 2 3 5th string, 1 to 3 4th string. Okay, now we're going to keep climbing up. On the 3rd string, we'll go 1 3 4. You can use your ring finger for those last 2 notes, or go to your pinky for the last note. On the 2nd string, we'll go 1 to 4. Now on your 1st fret on the 1st string, that's your 2nd octave F. We're going to go a little bit higher. Let's go up to the 4th fret on the 1st string. Okay, coming back down, 1st fret, 1st string, 4 to 1 on your 2nd string, 4 3 1 on the 3rd string, 3 to 1 on the 4th string, 3 2 1 5th string, and then 4 1 6th string. Here's that scale up and down. 3 4. Okay, for number 4, we're going to look at the B flat blues scale. The notes for this scale is going to be a B flat, D flat, E flat, E natural, F, A flat, and then back to a B flat. Also want to point out that B flat is also enharmonically known as A sharp. So we're also playing the A sharp blues scale, but we're just referring to it in the terms of the B flat key. Okay, for this one, we're going to start off, you're going to notice this is the same pattern, but we're just starting on our 5th string. So we'll go 1 to 4, 5th string, 1 2 3, 4th string, and then 1 3 on the 3rd string. There's your B flat, that's the 1st octave. Coming back down, 1st fret, 3rd string, 3 2 1 4th string, and then 4 1 5th string. Here's that scale up and down. 3 4. Number 5, we'll hit each note 3 times. It'll sound like an 8th note triplet. 3 triplet, 4 triplet. For number 6, we're going to take the scale up 2 octaves. Let's do what we've already done. 1 to 4 on the 5th string, 1 2 3 4th string, 1 to 3 on your 3rd string. Let's keep climbing up. We're going to go 2 4 5 on your 2nd string, and then on the 1st string we'll go 1 to 4 and then to 6. That 6th fret is your 2nd octave B flat. Coming back down, 4 to 1, 5 4 2 on the 2nd string, 3 to 1 3rd string, 3 2 1 4th string, and then 4 to 1 5th string. Here's that scale up and down. 3 4. Okay, I always recommend to jam and improvise with your chords and your scales. So I'm going to play some F7 and then improvise with some F blues scale. You can play any strum pattern, any tempo. I'm going to start off with some chords. Some scales. Back to some chords. And some more scale. Okay, now I'll do the same concept. I'm going to jam on a B flat 7 chord and then play some B flat blues scale. Starting off with some chords. Some scale. chords. Some more scales. For this chapter study, we're going to go into part 2 of our blues study. Last chapter, we learned to play some 12-bar blues in the key of A with some fun rhythms and patterns in A. So today we're going to just play some chords and use some different strumming, and we're going to play 12-bar blues in 4 other keys. Okay, now we're going to be using the same sort of formula template for our blues. This is your traditional 12-bar blues. I want to point out that there are other cool forms of blues and lots of different ways to play it with 8 bars or 24 bars, interesting changes and switches, but we're going to be kind of just attacking your standard 12-bar blues as you might hear in a bar. For all these blues, you can also use any patterns you like to strum. You can mix and match some of these patterns too. We'll be doing a blues in the key of D. Now with all of our blues, basically we're gonna have our 3 chords. It's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. So in the key of D, your 1 chord is gonna be a D7, 4 chord is a G7, and your 5 chord is an A7. And it's all based off of your major scale. So if I go in the key of D, D, E, F sharp, G, there's my 4 chord, and then A would be my 5 chord, all based off of the major scale. Okay, now as far as our formula here, we're gonna go 4 bars of our 1 chord. We're gonna switch it to the 4 chord for 2 bars, go back to the 1 chord for 2 bars. The last 4 bars is gonna be the turnaround where we'll go the 5 chord to the 4 chord, back to the 1 chord, and then ending on the 5 chord, which will set us up to start over again. With all these blues, I do recommend they're really fun to jam with other people. You can also record yourself and improvise over it. The blues scale will work great over this in all these different keys. If I'm doing a blues in D, I just want to be working my D blues scale. So you can refer back to some previous chapters for some scales and chords, but let's go ahead and play a blues in D. Okay, now for this one, we're going to be doing strumming pattern with 2 quarter notes and then 2 beats of 8th notes. So here's the pattern without a chord. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just want to point out at the last bar, we'll just do all 4 quarter notes for that last bar on A7. I'm going to recommend play these straight and swung, so I'll start off straight and then I'll also play them swung. Okay, now for your D7, I'm just going to be doing open position. I've got my open 5th string, open 4th string, middle finger is on the 2nd fret 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then ring finger is on the 2nd fret 1st string. Avoid your 6th string, or you can just mute it with your thumb. For my G7, I've got my ring finger on the 3rd fret 6th string, middle finger is on the 2nd fret 5th string, open 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string, and then index is on the 1st fret 1st string. For my A7 chord, I got my open 6th string, open 5th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 4th string, open 3rd string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 2nd string, and then open 1st string. Okay, here comes number 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... Okay, now here's number 1 swung. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... Okay, for number 2, we're going to go into a blues in E. So we're going to go E7 for 4 bars. We'll switch it to our A7 for 2 bars, back to E7 for 2 bars. For our turnaround, we're going to go B7 for a bar to A7 for a bar, back to E7 for a bar, and then ending with a B7. Okay, now for this one, let's talk about our chords. Our E7, just think of an E major chord without your ring finger. So I've got the open 6th string, middle's on the 2nd fret 5th string, open 4th string, index is on the 1st fret 3rd string, and then open first 2 strings. We've already talked about A7, so let's just map out a B7 chord. I've got my middle finger on the 2nd fret 5th string, index is on the 1st fret 4th string, ring finger is on the 2nd fret 3rd string, open 2nd string, pinky's got the 2nd fret on the 1st string, and then I'm going to make some contact with my middle to mute my low 6th string, or bring your thumb over the top to mute that string. Okay, now for this one, we're just going to be doing all 8th notes. So here's straight number 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Here's number 2 swung. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, for number 3, we're going to do a minor blues. So just as we've been doing blues with our dominant 7 chords, we can also make it into a minor blues. These have a really great vibe. They're also really fun to solo on. So for this one, we're going to go into A minor. Okay, we're going to go A minor for 4 bars, switch it to D minor for 2 bars, back to A minor for 2 bars. Our turnaround's going to be an E7 for a bar to a D minor, back to A minor, and then ending on E7. Now sometimes in a minor blues, we make the 5 chord into a dominant 7 chord. You can also make that into a minor chord, but we're gonna have a dominant chord just for our 5 chord, which will be for our E. So for our rhythm for this one, we're gonna start off with 8th notes on beat 1. We'll have quarter notes on beats 2 and 3, and then 8th notes on beat 4. So here's the pattern without a chord. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and... Okay, here comes number 3 with a straight feel. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and... Number 3 with a swung feel. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and... Okay, for the last one, number 4, we're going to do a blues in G. So we're going to start off with the G7 for 4 bars. We'll go to a C7 for 2 bars, back to G7 for 2 bars. Our turnaround here is going to be a D7 for a bar, C7 for a bar, back to G7 for a bar, and then we'll end on a D7. Okay, for your C7, it's going to be just your C major shape, and we're going to add our pinky. So I've got ring finger on the 3rd fret 5th string, middle finger is on the 2nd fret 4th string, pinky is on the 3rd fret 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then you can have your open 1st string. And I'm just going to make some contact to mute my low 6th string, or you can have your thumb over the top to mute that note. Now for rhythm, for number 4, we're going to have a quarter note on beat 1 and then 8th notes on beat 2, and then repeat that again for beats 3 and 4. So here's our pattern without a chord. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... swung rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you for the next chapter. Take care.